Dobro jutro, good morning. I'm glad that I have the opportunity to participate in this meeting, although in this unusual way. Unfortunately, for today, there is a meeting in Paris at the headquarters of Organization of Economic Cooperation, OECD, which was scheduled 1 year in advance. So unfortunately, I couldn't stay in Ljubljana with you and be in person with you. So I was asked by the organizers to try to provide our view to the subject of this meeting through this way. I must say that this is the first time I'm doing that, so I'm a little bit nervous. Well, the title of the meeting is about the public participation in process related to nuclear energy in Slovenia, and with a special emphasis on this IRSN report, which you will be talking about today. And I must say that this is really a very challenging subject, and that's why I'm very interested in sharing experience with you. Well, let me first start with explaining how we at our Slovenian Nuclear Safety Administration are organizing our communication with public. As you know, transparency, communication with public is one of the big issues in the international arena. Everybody likes to speak about transparency, and we have taken that very seriously. As state administration, we are providing service to the people of Slovenia, and therefore we are, of course, fully accountable for anything we do to the people. And of course, for that, it is our understanding that we have to be transparent, we have to be open to the public, we have to be always ready to explain whatever we are doing, whatever decisions we are making. So how do we do that? One of the main vehicles that we are using is a yearly or annual report that we have to write every year by law. Every year by end of June we prepare a report about the nuclear safety and protection against ionizing radiation in Slovenia. And we have to provide that report to our government, and that government submits that to our parliament, and through this process, of course, everything is completely public. Anybody in the country has opportunity to see what is going on. Of course, what was going on in the previous year. Since about 10 years ago, we have developed a practice to prepare one formal report which goes through this process, through the government and through the parliament, which is limited in space. It is about 60-70 pages every year. And in addition, we are preparing another one, which is we call extended report, razširjeno letno poročilo, where there is everything explained in detail, and where all the stakeholders involved in nuclear safety are contributing to the content. So this is available to the public. Then, of course, we have a homepage which we are using very, I would say, well, not maybe intensively, but whenever it is needed. Whenever we need, we have a feeling that we have to inform the public about something important, we publish that on our homepage. And we would like that homepage to be the source of information for anybody interested in the country about what is going on. Then we are trying very carefully and permanently to have good relations with the media. The journalists are always answered. Whenever we get any request from journalists in our administration, we try to provide answer as fast as possible and as open as possible. My personal mobile phone is almost public. Most of the journalists have it, and they can call me anytime, and I always answer. We also are getting occasionally questions from individuals, and we always treat them very seriously. We always answer to them. We even invite people to come to our administration to have a better look into some details that they are interested in. Then, in addition, we did have, of course, discussions in the past with the non-governmental organizations. There are several in the country. And I have tried for some time to arrange with them, to improve the communication with them, and we have managed to organize a system of regular meetings. So representatives of NGOs are invited to our administration. We decided to organize that every 6 months. And this was going on for some two or 3 years, and this proved to be, at least from my point of view, very, very good practice. I can tell you that at the first meeting there was some kind of stress present, that our guests were a little bit reluctant or somehow afraid. How will that look like? They have asked questions. Could they see this document? Could they get explanation to this and this? And we were always trying to provide all the answers and gave all the documents. So I did feel that during the next meetings, this stress was much smaller, and that we have managed to establish some kind of constructive communication, and also for them it is a fact that they have also my phone number, and they do call me from time to time and ask about some details that they are interested in. Now, then, of course, we have special cases when we have emergency situations. For emergency situations, our administration has special role. We are the one that is giving advices to the civil protection, how to introduce protective measures for people, and also it is our task to communicate with the people of Slovenia and also internationally. So for such cases, we have established our internal processes with the goal to provide the first information about the event, any event that happens in 30 minutes after we get together. Maybe you know that in case anything goes wrong in the nuclear power plant, their legal requirement is that they inform authorities, among other authorities also us, in 15 minutes. And that is the case. When in last several years we did have several unusual events, and the power plant did inform our administration or our officer on duty in 15 minutes, and we then are struggling very hard to prepare the first message for the public in as soon as possible, but our target is 30 minutes. And we have proven that we are able to do that. We did have a trip of nuclear power plant a year ago. We did react like that. We did have a trip of the power plant this spring, or in February, March, something like that. And we managed to prepare information very fast. And also last Saturday, or 10 days ago, there was a trip early in the morning in the power plant, and we were the first ones to respond, to inform the public. Also, during the development of the emergency, one of our main tasks is information to the public. And during the exercises and during serious events, we have a special team on duty that is preparing messages for the public and informing them either through our homepage with the press releases to the media, or when things go more serious and we have the whole system in place, including the civil protection, then we prepare information for the central information point which is organized by the Governmental Office for Communication. Maybe you remember our big training that we had 5 years ago. It was on 4th of June 2008 when there was a leak in the primary system of the nuclear power plant, and we tried to respond as transparent as possible. And as it was proven later, we were even too transparent and too enthusiastic to provide information. If you remember, the leak happened at about 3:30 in the afternoon. We were alerted sometime after 4 in the afternoon, and then in next hour and a half we have prepared a message for. Just to be transparent, we decided to inform neighboring countries through the ECORI system. We sent a message to Luxembourg, and this was then spread to whole Europe. And in the meantime, by 7 o'clock in the evening, the power plant was already safely shut down. But at about 7 o'clock, there was alerting news coming from Brussels, and then during the night the whole Europe was alerted. There were tens of journalists in the morning in front of the power plant, and we really had hard time communicating with the media. Well, that was a big training for us. We have revisited reviewed our processes and our procedures, how to inform, and that has helped us now that we have things better in place. Of course, during the accidents, information communication cannot be as fast and open as during the normal situation. In such case, we cannot answer to each and every question because we are simply too few. And in such cases, we request from the people to go to our homepage and see what are the latest news, and we postpone individual answers to later phases. Okay, that was a general description of how we have our general philosophy. How do we communicate with the public? Now, then I was asked to comment on this case that was also that got also some public response in the earlier this year about the letter from the French Institute IRSN related to the seismical issue around the nuclear power plant Krško. Well, let me first explain what was that all about. It was on 25th of January that the director of our utility, Energija, came to my office and explained to me that one day earlier he has received a letter from the IRSN that was related to the seismical issues of the site, and that was a result of the unsuccessful coordination among the 4 members of the consortium that was engaged to evaluate the site for the potential second unit in the Krško site. I was at that point informed briefly about the developments. I knew, but we have never followed in detail, that GEN has invited a consortium of 4 companies, 2 Slovenian and 2 French companies, to make seismical studies of the site. But since the siting is formally not going on yet, since there is no political decision to go with the new second unit, we as a regulatory body were not involved into details of that process. But on 25th of May, I was first time informed that this consortium has performed number of analysis and investigations on the site, but that they couldn't produce a common report, that they couldn't agree about the findings, and that this was going on for several years. And obviously, these discrepancies about their views were so big that IRSN decided to act individually. Well, on this 25th of January, I have agreed with the director of GEN to wait with our response until we get full documentation, which he promised to submit in next weeks, so that we could get a fuller picture about everything. Eventually, they were not fast enough, so the issue came into public. The media were informed about that letter, and suddenly it became a public issue, and there were even political issues behind it, which I don't want to go into details now, and so it became public. When we got the additional information, we have realized the magnitude of the problem, and I can tell you that this is a very unpleasant issue for us regulators. You should understand that we are the safety authority which has certain level of knowledge, but certainly we cannot claim that we are top experts in any field. So I can tell you that we do have several people in our administration that know something about geology and seismology, but we are not specialized in this subject so deeply that we would feel capable enough to decide about the differences among these four experts in seismology and geology and seismotectonics and all these things. So this kind of challenge, when we got a message from one of the top experts that they have different opinion from three other also top experts, and somehow leaving us to make a decision, that is very hard challenge for the regulator. We, the regulators, we have to make our decision based on certain technical evaluations, certain technical positions, which are provided by relevant people. Now, if we are faced with the four relevant people giving us different opinions, then of course we have a major problem. And realizing that, and also understanding that issue is already public, at that point we have decided, okay, let's be as transparent as possible, let's be fully transparent. And from then on, we have published everything that has happened in this respect on our on our homepage. We have at that point even invented a new section of our homepage where we call it posebne zadeve in Slovenian, that is the cases or something like that. And there on that page from March on, you can follow everything that is going on related to this IRSN letter, all the documents, our opinions after each meeting, and so on. I believe that we couldn't make much more related to the transparency, or at least I would like to hear what would be a better way to go. In addition, very soon after the beginning of this public challenge, there was a meeting organized in the Krško community, organized by the Krško, what is that, općina, that is Krško community, where it was public meeting, where I have personally explained our views to the media and to the people there. But then, in the continuation, I have immediately asked GEN Energija to organize the meeting with all four experts, because we wanted to get as much knowledge about and we wanted to understand the issue as much as possible. This meeting was eventually organized at the end of April. That one was not public because we didn't want to make it public, as we consider that to be a meeting of technical experts where we would try to use the time available for technical discussions, and we simply didn't want to spend our time explaining to some people from public about things that are more or less obvious and should be explained later in more in a different way. So the meeting was held in April, and there were about 30 or 40 people altogether. It lasted the whole afternoon, and I was the first one to speak. And I immediately, I tried to explain my concern very, very, very early, at the very beginning of the meeting. I said to this gentleman there, first of all, the second unit, the construction of the second unit is not our concern yet. If anybody wants to construct second unit on that site, he will have to take into account all the results that are available, all the expertise, and provide answers to all the questions, and then come to us, and then we will decide what to do and how to do. Now, and I said, what I am very much concerned is what is with the operating power plant, of course, Krško 1. And to make my concerns very clear, and to make very clear to the experts that we are serious, I have shown on the screen a picture of a big fault somewhere in California after certain. I found it on internet. After certain earthquake, there was a big movement of the ground, and at certain road, suddenly a meter wide fault has appeared, long, I don't know how long, several hundred meters, and in front of that picture, I said to the expert, listen, people, if you're telling me that we can experience something like that at the site of nuclear power plant Krško, I will go out to the people of Slovenia and say, listen, we have to shut down this power plant because of the imminent danger, imminent seismical danger. And I would like you four to stand behind me and back me up when we do that. And the reaction of all four, and also the people from RSN, was, no, this is not the case. No, this is not so dangerous. There is no need to do anything like that immediately. Okay. So that was one relief for me. Then during this afternoon, there were several presentations, and the issue was about the so-called Libna fault. Is it active or not? Is it capable or not? And I have raised the question. Now, IRSN claims that this fault is capable. The other three are not sure about that. They cannot agree with that. Okay. Now, if it is capable, tell me, if it is capable, does it change the design basis for the power plant? Would anything change if this fault is capable? And I repeated that question at least twice, and at least twice or even more times, all four of them agreed, no, even if this fault is capable, its contribution to the seismical input that is used for the Krško is smaller. It would not change the seismical input. You should understand that for construction of Krško, certain level of earth movement was used, so-called seismical profile was used, which is of course prepared conservatively enough in order to take into account of all possible earthquakes that can happen in that area. And so these four experts at that point claimed that even if Libna is capable, this input would not change, which then means that all the provisions that we have for protection of our nuclear power plant against earthquakes are proper, and that we don't have to change anything immediately. So these two two statements of all the experts somehow made us sure that there is no need for any immediate action, and you can read about that on this our homepage. Now later, of course, we have requested from Energija to finish all the studies, and they promised to finish them by the end of this year, although the consortium is not there anymore, or I don't know exactly what is the situation. Somehow these people didn't want to cooperate anymore. And also the nuclear power plant Krško is preparing a study that will somehow reconsider their response to the new facts, and I can say that they are a little bit late with that. They promised to do it before the end of the summer, but then one of the experts asked them to go deeper into the analysis, and now in the last 2 months they were too busy with all the events that you are aware of about the leaking fuel, and we expect this report now towards the end of the year. Well, to make things even more complicated, IRSN has sent us a second letter at the end of the summer. You can find it on the homepage, where I must say that this is even harder to understand. I have read it a number of times, and I'm still not sure what is the message, but still I don't see any really very alerting message, but although they basically somehow changed their position. They at the meeting in April they have somehow claimed something, and now in this letter they are changing the position. But anyhow, as I said, we are expecting from Energija to continue with these investigations and to get the final reports. At the end of this, my contribution, let me touch another subject, or let me explain my another view to the transparency issue. Now, the transparency is, of course, a very popular issue in the nuclear energy and nuclear safety issues. And for many years, I did understand NGOs and members of the public complaining that nuclear industry is not transparent enough, that we are trying to hide something and so on. I did understand that really many times some individuals were clumsy or not informing properly and so on. As I'm trying to explain during all this my contribution, that we are trying to be better, to be transparent. But now, during these last events with the leaking fuel, I got the impression that maybe things are a little bit different than I have thought. I'm changing my view. Now, my understanding is that the mostly interested for our non-transparency are NGOs, really, since if we are clumsy and we don't inform properly, then of course they have reasons to complain, to accuse, and to write open letters and so on. But if we tell everything and we explain everything, then of course we would have to talk about the technical details. We could then open other kind of discussion, which is harder, and it is harder to get attention of people when you start talking about technical issues. It is easier to get media attention if you complain about somebody not being proper. So I'm really sorry that I'm not with you here today, since I would like to exchange views about that. I would like to have discussions about that. It is beneficial discussion. We are dealing with the issues that are important for all of us, and well, I hope you will have a fruitful day and you will have opportunity to exchange views, and I hope to get some feedback from that, and so I can just wish you a successful morning. I'm probably somewhere in Paris at that point, thinking about you. Goodbye.